339. Committee meeting and committee of the whole meeting to order. Councilors, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the past meeting?
Yes.
Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes from the last meeting have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Councilors, do you have any items you would like to place on consent?
Yes,
Councilor Abbott.
as a matter of fact. I would like to place item 5. Well, actually, item 4 can go on there now.
Okay.
So items 4 and 5, I mean, if no one objects.
No objections.
Item 6 on page 2. Item 8 and 9 on page 3. Items 10 and 11 on page 4. Did I do that right? 10 and 11, yeah. Nothing on page 5. Then on page 6, items 13, 14, and 15. On page 7, item 18. On page 8, items 19 and 20. And that's all.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any items?
I don't have any items to add. Thank
Okay,
you.
so that's items 4 and 5 on page 1, item 6 on page 2, items 8 and 9 on page 3, items 9, 10, and 11 on page 4. Okay. Items 13, 14, 15 on page 6. Item 18 on page 7. Items 19 and 20 on page 8. Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those items have been placed on the consent agenda. If your item was placed on consent, you may enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Otherwise, the first item is item number 7. This is for the mayor to execute an agreement for a term not to exceed 3 years between the city and the county to authorize the county to make improvements in the Birmingham area interstates and highways on and off ramps within AlDOT right-of-way in compliance with all the rules, laws, and regulations for the undertaking, performance, completion, and maintenance of the Gateway Beautification Project. The county shall be designated as the joint purchasing or bidding agent for materials and labor. The county will invoice Birmingham. The total cost to be paid by the city to the county shall not exceed $1,171,300, and the county will assume responsibility for the management of the work.
Second.
Okay. Chief?
Yeah, Mr. Colin Alexander would come and speak, and I'll tag team with him. I think the actual item should have said that this amount will be over 3 years. So
3
it's not
years.
a lump sum as is noted, but it should be over 3 years.
Okay.
The backup information does say 3
Right, okay.
years. So.
We'll make note of it.
All right. Well, good afternoon to the committee. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as program manager with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. And if you recall, 3 years ago, the city of Birmingham entered into a partnership with Jefferson County, UAB, and AlDOT to beautify and maintain key access corridors off the interstate system into Birmingham. It was a beautification project partnership between those entities. And so that first round and project that was managed by RCI, not managed, but was constructed by RCI, is now coming to an end. So we're entering into a new agreement, a new 3-year agreement. This IGA is between the city and the county specifically. So last time we did one big IGA with all 4 partners in one agreement. Now we're doing individual ones. Gives us a little more flexibility to respond to needs as the 3-year project is going along. As the chief mentioned, it is broken into 3 years, so it's not a lump sum. So for the estimated city funds for year 1 are almost $382,000, about $390,000 for year 2, and then about $399,000 for year 3.
Okay. All right. Councilors, do you have any questions? Madam Pro Tem?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. I just wanted to be reminded, this work was initially started, it was all the gateway, the entry points into the city of Birmingham and those areas, correct?
That's correct.
And so this will not include any additional, are we expanding this any or it's staying within the same framework?
Yeah, we had explored an expansion, but at this time, all the partners determined we're gonna keep the same basic geographic scope. The one exception is that there were gaps in the areas. Previously, there will be no gaps between those sections. So a good example is, we had an area at the split of I-20 and 59 and an area at Porto Madrid. Now all of I-20 in between that will be included in this. So no more gap areas, but no new geographic areas.
Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
So this is going to get all the interstate interchanges,
On-ramps and
ramps,
off-ramps,
and all the highways.
just interstate.
Just the interstate and Red Mountain Expressway portions.
Okay, it says interstates and highways.
280 is a highway.
Correct.
Okay, is it all the interstates and highways or just 280?
So there should be an Exhibit A that was included in your packet that has highlighted areas of the interstate system that will be maintained. So from the previous area, it's from I-59 from the split down to Bush Boulevard. I-65 from the junction down to Green Springs, and then the Red Mountain Expressway corridor, as well as a portion over by Porto Madrid on I-20.
Because yes, this Green Springs Highway is one of the other highways outside of 280. It's just, it intersects with 65. So that may be a little confusing when it says interstates and highways.
Yeah,
Because the actual on-ramp and off-ramp is on Green Springs Highway, on
that's true.
265.
It can be confusing. Okay, and just remind me, how did we, this is Aldot's
Yes.
job, but we have contracted with the county to do it for us because Aldot won't do it and we will do it, but we don't have the people to do it, so we're getting the county to do it and we're just paying them. Is that sort of accurate?
In a way, so Aldot does have a mowing contract. Their standards, I think it's only 2 cuttings a year during the growing season, and so there were some community concerns that was not frequent enough. And so in order to figure out how to maintain this right-of-way that's technically Aldot's, that has a multi-jurisdictional benefit, we came to this partnership between UAB, Aldot, Jefferson County, and the city. In order for us to do the work on Aldot right-of-way, a government entity has to bid out the project. And so the county is the bidder and selector of the vendor.
Okay, well, that's good. And will they be replacing the trees that died?
So we are actually in that discussion now about scoping. RCI who is the contractor for the last term, has been awarded the low bid this term. So we're working out scope, and that is something that we have brought to their attention about maintaining and replacing the older trees.
Yeah, because I remember when we first started talking about the agreement that they were going to be in charge of keeping them alive.
Yeah, that has come up a number of times in our committee meetings here recently as we're getting ready to set the scope, and we're very aware of that concern.
Good, thank you. We could spray paint all the dead ones green, but it wouldn't be the same. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any more questions?
Well, I just went back and looked at our Exhibit A, and I just wanted to be sure I'm clear. So we see the 3-year costs that are itemized, and it says county funds and city funds. So are they gonna pay it and then we pay them back, or how's that working?
Yeah, so they have the contract with RCI, and what'll happen is that when they get invoiced, they'll put together for the year what the total that they've been invoiced, and then they will invoice the individual partners.
We reimburse the county.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's it, Madam Chair.
Counselor
Okay,
Abbott?
now you've confused me.
Sure.
It says on here that Birmingham will pay the invoiced amount prior to the county beginning work. Is that what y'all just said?
So it's on, we will have the estimated contract, and I'm trying to remember, hold on.
It says they're gonna send us an invoice and we're gonna pay it before they do the work. Now, that's what it says, but is that what y'all just said? It said. What
So we-
does it say?
They've been invoicing us in the rears. So they do the work, and then at the end of the year, we actually just got one for last
Yeah,
year
we just got,
out.
so let me help with this one. So as Mr. Alexander said, we just got invoiced for a cut that they just did it. So we're paying in arrears. They pay up front. We just reimburse the county.
Okay, but if they wanna enforce what we say we're doing in this contract, they could send us the
They
invoice
could,
before
but
they do the work.
I'm pretty sure that BDOT will go out and inspect it before we pay anything, especially if I'm putting my signature on the invoice.
Okay, well, maybe some little wording needs to be tweaked,
It's understood.
a little tweaking. That was all.
Okay.
Thank you.
You good? Okay. All right, well, was there a motion and second?
I move approval, I think.
Okay, there's been motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the aye has been passed. Thank you. Next item is item number 12. This is authorizing the mayor to accept an unconditional donation to the city of Birmingham from James Fisher Davis Company, CEO, Equilibrium Up and Associates LLC, and from Kevin Gatlin's Co., CEO of Playtime Ventures, with the mailing address of P.O. Box 2224, Matthews, North Carolina. These gentlemen have offered to donate child-friendly trauma kits for first responders to provide to children. This will be given to Birmingham Fire and Rescue and Birmingham Police Department. The kits provide over 30 interactive games and hygiene products for children.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
My name's Julius Purified. I serve as the Deputy Chief for Birmingham and Fire. So we got a call for someone to donate us interactive games for kids when they have a traumatic event. So they had a special event on February 24th where they put together the kits. They had a lot of people from public safety putting together the kits. And Birmingham was issued 150 kits that we would put on our field units. So when a kid have a traumatic event, something going on with their parent, we'll have those kits to kind of give to the kid to kind of take their mind off the situation. So that's what the basis of the kits are.
Okay. All right, Council Abbott.
Yeah, and so they're just giving them to us for free because they're nice people, or do they expect us to order some more later? Or
I don't think I don't think, when speaking with the gentleman, there's not a cost to it. It's not a cost to it, and if it comes back around, if they have the ability, they will restock them if need be.
Okay, well, I read it and I thought it sounded very generous, but I wasn't really clear on, I mean, it sounded like it was a business
No,
venture.
they doing it all over the country.
Yeah,
So it's like a thing that they're doing.
it's just
And I
their
think they
thing.
just came from Atlanta doing it, and they came to Birmingham to do it.
Okay, well, that's great, because heaven knows if your house catches on fire, you need distracting.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
Yeah. Madam Pro Tem?
Well, yes, I do want to thank, I think these are two dads or two fathers
Yes,
that
yes.
started this.
That's
So
nice.
Yes,
I did
ma'am.
just want to publicly thank both of them for just this type of resource for
Yes.
children when they are in those traumatic situations. So thank you.
I think it's a wonderful thing, so I don't really have any questions. Okay. Well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item has passed. Thank you. Next item. It's item number 16. This is for the mayor to execute for and as the act of said city, a professional services contract with Gray Quarter Incorporated for technical expertise in network infrastructure, software development process, system, and for all of that, for our permitting, implementation project for 1 year in amount not to exceed $66,000. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dustin Glass. I serve as the city's GIS and permitting systems manager. This item is essentially to assist with the continued implementation of our Acela permitting system as we reach the final phase of that project, and to assist us with some challenges we currently have staffing-wise due to the unexpected loss of one of our team members back in December.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
Yes. Thank you very much. What percentage of the work has been done so far? You said would this be the final phase of implementation, or where do you think we are with the system so far?
Yes, ma'am. So the initial rollout of Acela has been focused on, well, with the disruption, that kind of changed things a little bit, but the whole goal initially was to roll out a replacement for our legacy permitting system, Tidemark, which some of you may be familiar with. And with the phase 3 that we are in the process of completing now, hopefully, we're probably within about 6 weeks, hopefully, of finishing that. We should have that completed, and then the phase 4, we will have some additional permits that we will be adding that have been identified as needs for various groups. And phase 4 will also include trying to improve the overall functionality of the system, because we had to go at a little bit different pace than we maybe would have due to the challenges we had this past year. So we're going to try to use this last phase to kind of polish that up.
And so this would also include hiring some staff. You said you lost a staff member. That sort of delayed things. Is this all for implementation?
Yes, ma'am. This is, and we were expecting to finish the project, later in the spring. But with like I say, with the challenge we've had with the loss of one of our senior staff members unexpectedly, that definitely caused some challenges, and we've also went through some of our hours a little quicker because of that. So we're working on hiring staff to get back up to full staffing, but obviously that takes a little bit of time. But
We're sorry to hear about the loss of the staff member. Just one final question. Does this also include I think we've been told about there's going to be some educational pieces for the outside users of this? And so would this be in phase 4, or is this part of this package as well?
So that is actually separate. I think you may be just bringing up the video training that we're working on. So we actually have a separate professional services agreement with a videographer who is going to work with us on that. And I think we're very close to kicking that off, probably within the next 4 weeks, possibly. I think we're going to go about that by doing groups of focused videos to how to create your account, how to enter your application, how to search for this component. So we're going to try to give all of those main functions that the citizens, predominantly will be using, kind of give them a little bit better guides. We have some PowerPoints out there, but we feel like some actual how-to videos would be a little more beneficial.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Council Abbott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So did you say phase 4 is the end, or you still got a 5 and a 6?
Phase 4 will be the end of the actual implementation. We should, at that point, have all permits in the system that have been requested. Obviously, with any system, there'll be continued work, but that point, we should be completed with our implementation as a whole.
Okay, so if I were to go onto our city website and I needed an electrical permit for my house,
Yes, ma'am.
would I be able to go on there and do it now?
Yes, ma'am. Electrical permits, both building and trades are out there currently. So you could do any, mechanical, electrical, plumbing work could be applied for online through the ACA portal.
And this is just a general question. Do homeowners and business owners usually apply for permits, or does the contractor who's doing the work usually apply for a permit?
From what I see, I'm probably not the best person to answer that. Probably somebody in the permitting office themselves would probably be better. But from what I see in the back end, we definitely have Probably more contractors apply overall online. I think we're roughly sitting right now at about 50% of our permits. For the permit types that are available online, about 50% of those are being applied for online and 50% in person. So, but I think predominantly those are contractors that are applying online. And I think it has more to do with, they're applying for numerous permits at a time, so it's probably easier for them. And I think we've had some level of citizen interaction where a lot of folks have said they just like coming into the counter to make sure they have all of their ducks in a row. But we're trying to improve that online too, to kind of give them that, with those videos, to kind of explain what is needed to make sure they understand what's available to them online too.
Okay, so this is a question that just popped up with that, okay? So if I've only applied for a fence permit myself, but I had a plumber and electrician file for permits for the work they were doing. If they didn't get a permit and they did the work, would you come after them or would you come after me?
I think it's the homeowner.
The homeowner.
Yeah.
So the homeowner needs to make sure that they actually got the permit that they said that they got.
Yeah, because usually the process is if you contract with somebody to do a fence install, their cost of their quote that they quote you will include the permitting of that fence installation. So it's upon them to make sure to protect you as the customer to come to City Hall and make sure they get the proper permitting before they start any type of install.
You really think they go and get a permit?
I would
I
guess.
had to force my guy. I said, I'm going to get the permit. And he said, well, you don't really need one. I can have it finished in a day.
Sound a little shady, but okay.
Well, yeah, but there's tons of shady operators.
Yeah, okay.
I've met them. Anyway, I was just curious because, we should know so we can tell other people. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any additional questions? Okay. Was there a motion? There was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item has passed. Next item is item number 17, a resolution authorizing the mayor for a payment given to the Southern Museum of Flight Foundation, an amount not to exceed $9,690, subject to the availability of funding, to arrange for and provide payments to program assistants conducting public programs for the museum and for part-time help.
Second.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Randy Law, and I serve as the museum curator at the Southern Museum of Flight. I am here in place of Dr. Brian Barsanti, the executive director of the museum. We have asked for some rather small amount of money to help us hire temporary part-time personnel to help us out for special events programming, things such as Black History Month, Women's History Month, Veterans Day, Memorial Day programs, things of this sort. In particular, it helps us hire part-time temporary personnel to help with after-school programming and spring break camps and summer break camps. So it is high impact because it's cost effective. It allows us to hire people to help with educational programming, but for specific events, so it's not a long-term recurring commitment.
Okay. All right. Councilor Abbott.
But it sounds like they're mostly times when kids are out of school and need someplace to go,
Yeah.
like the Southern Museum of Flight.
Exactly.
Okay, so what is this funding source? You probably don't know that, but Chaz knows. Chaz knows all.
It's in their budget.
This is,
It's in the Southern Museum of Flight's budget.
okay, why are they asking us for it?
I think it's for the contract, to go ahead and do the contract for the programming. So, no, I take that back, actually, because this is a grant account. So they are receiving funds And so we're accepting them on behalf of the foundation.
Okay, so this is a grant from the
The foundation, yes. I had to look at the attachments.
Well, you know, I looked at them and I didn't see that, so.
Because I know the
goes to
funding, the funding codes.
Okay, okay, yeah, you know those by heart. Okay, that was my
Unfortunately.
only question. I mean, this sounded like a great thing, and I think the Southern Museum of Flight is a too well-kept secret that we need to not keep as closely, because a lot of people don't know y'all exist. And it's a fabulous museum.
Thank you. I agree with you entirely.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, way back 100 years ago, I knew people that helped start it, and, you know, they were very enthusiastic about flying, and all those airplanes that were rusting out in the grass, in the field, you know, at the airport. And now we have a whole museum, and it's very impressive, so we've come a long way. So thank you.
Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you. I am glad that this grant became available for you. Just out of curiosity, are most of your visits during after school or when school isn't in, or do you have programs that encourage that type of participation through the school system?
So that's
Yes, yes.
both.
Okay.
Yes, and both. During the school year, the bulk of our visitors are school-age students, K through 12, who come from Birmingham City Schools and around the metro area. And then during spring break, occasionally, I believe as well during winter break, but in particular during summer vacation, we have programs during the day to encourage students to come. Literacy, STEAM, all sorts of good stuff.
Well, perfect, because I know, I'm sure that the counselors, we'd love if you had flyers or something that we could put on our own district pages to try to promote that participation.
We'll make sure that we
Love
send
to
them
help
your
with
way.
that. Thank
Great.
you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, I'm good to go. So, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the item is passed. Thank you. Next item is item number 21. This is a license agreement between the city and Alabama Regional Medical Services, under which the city will contract with them to license a vacant parking lot located at 1927 Avenue D to park a mobile unit and provide free prevention screens for blood pressure, HIV, and blood and glucose screens free of charge to our citizens on the second and fourth Monday of each month for 1 year.
Second.
All right, Chief.
Yep. The synopsis kind of stated it, but I'll go ahead and say it again. So the Alabama Regional Medical Services will provide a preventive service screens as part of their continued commitment to providing accessible community-based health care to underserved communities. The initiative will focus on offering blood pressure screenings, diabetes screenings, and HIV testing in one of the most vulnerable zip codes in Birmingham, 35218, where the access to healthcare services remain a significant challenge. To facilitate these critical screenings, we would like to request permission to park our mobile health unit on the city-owned property located at 1927 Avenue D, 35218. This location will allow us to reach those that are in need and be more effective in ensuring they receive the necessary preventive care. That is it.
Thank you. Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Okay, Council Abbott?
Okay, so we're gonna lease the vacant parking lot that we own for 2 days a month to the Alabama Regional Medical Services Group, who are doing us a favor by coming to Inslee to provide these health, is Avenue D is Inslee?
It's Inslee, yes. And with the lease is free. And I think we just have the actual agreement just for legal purposes, so they can, if anything happens on the property, come on, I see you keep looking.
Okay, yeah, I see an attorney
Just-
lurking.
I can feel them just coming on up.
I really don't have to.
Go ahead.
What is the question, please, Ms.
Okay,
Abbott?
well, it really wasn't a question. I just wanted to make sure I understood what we're doing. So we have a vacant parking lot that belongs to us, and
And we're just leasing it to
we're
them for
just
liability
leasing
reasons.
it out
yes.
2 days a month so
That's
that
it.
the ARMS can come and provide these services.
That's correct.
For free to our residents. Everybody who shows up is served, and we're all happy.
That is correct.
And
And so this
what
is
we're
just a formality of having a lease so that no one can.
It is. What we're doing, we're treating the services they're providing to the citizens as the consideration of pay for using the lot.
Okay, good. I think it's excellent. Thank you. I was just trying to understand
Right,
what we were
okay,
doing.
all right.
What do we do with that lot, the other 30 to 28 days of the month?
It's just a vacant lot that we're trying to sell. That's
Well,
all.
maybe somebody will want to buy it after the sea
That would be
activity
great.
over there.
Let's hope that Arms buys it from us for future use.
You know, bring a future buyer.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there's been a motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye, that item is passed. Item 22. This is an agreement between the city and Alabama Power Company in an amount not to exceed 100,000 for a term of up to 3 years, under which Alabama Power Company will provide power and house small cell equipment on select poles for unique railroad crossing prediction solution sound sensors to identify when a train crossing is blocked and alert the public ahead of time. Thank you. And this will be for the Birmingham Department of Transportation.
Good afternoon again. I'm Colin Alexander, Program Manager with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. As you guys may recall, we have an ARPA-funded pilot project on the southwest side of town with TrainFo that we're working on getting set up. One of the steps in that is we've already installed the sensors on Alabama Power poles that are adjacent to the four crossings. This is just the agreement for Alabama Power to actually power those sensors. So as soon as we get this done, we'll be able to start collecting the audio data. We're still working through a potential camera partnership to see if we can supplement that additionally, but at least this will get us to where we can start collecting data. It's for $10,000 not to exceed over the course of the 3-year pilot project. That's inclusive of the renting of the poles, the fee, annual fee, and then the power to draw down to power the sensors.
Okay, it's correct on the amount, but in the paragraph, it needs to be $10,000. Okay, all right. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Well, thank you so much. I am excited. I want to thank BDOT for joining in on the ARPA project that Dr. O'Quinn and I put through for ARPA funding. I know this is something we definitely need on the western side of town. So I just want to thank you all publicly for joining in doing this part of it, because we couldn't do it without it. So thank you. But let me ask just a little bit about, you said, what's outstanding then?
So yeah, we've installed the sensors. We are working on getting DMS boards delivered. Then we've got to go through this agreement to get the sensors powered. Once they're powered, they'll be able to start collecting the data through their sensors. We are also exploring the possibility of adding cameras with Alabama Power to supplement some of that data, because one of the challenges is that along this corridor, when the gates are down for an extended period of time, the bells stop. And so therefore the audio data may not be accurate 100% of the time, depending on the length of the closure. So we'd like to supplement that with some video data, but we're working through that. But in the meantime, we can at least start the collection of data and start analyzing the four crossings.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Council Abbott.
So, the public, the people driving down the road that want to go somewhere that's blocked, how will they know? They'll see a digital message board up in the
Yes.
sky that will tell them that the intersection is blocked and that they should go
That's
somewhere
exactly
else.
right. So we've each crossing, as part of this package, we're getting a mobile DMS, dynamic messaging system board that will be located strategically at all four of the crossings. And so when the crossing is down, the sensors will pick it up. They will relay that information to the DMS boards that will give people a couple blocks ahead of time notice that, hey, this crossing is down, estimated to be down for this amount of time. Please proceed to a different crossing.
So would there be a possibility of geofencing those areas and sending people messages in addition to I mean, I realize you don't want them to be reading their phone, but they might have somebody in the car who could read it and say, oh, the crossing is
So
blocked.
there's a lot of possibilities with this software. This is just an initial pilot that's funded for 3 years through the ARPA funding. But we are optimistic about a long-term partnership with TrainFo and hopefully working that out. They do have models in which they tie in this data into Google Maps, into Waze, kind of notifying people of those down crossings. They also have a capability to tie it into 911 response teams too. So this project is very limited in what it can do just based on the funding, but we're using that as a springboard for a longer-term partnership.
Okay, good, because it's dangerous, all those people who think that they can beat the train, and what a way to go. So, well, thank you for this. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to work.
Yeah, so it's all based on sound, at least typically, we're working on this component with video, and they have also been working in other communities in the area too, with Alabaster and Pelham, so they're really starting to make a presence here in the Birmingham Metro.
Well, good, we have lots of train crossings. Does that mean the trains will quit blowing their horns?
No.
That's too bad. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, have we decided the locations?
Yes, so the four crossings that we're looking at are, let's see if I can remember off the top of my head. I know that it's the 24th Street Southwest. I know it's Jefferson Avenue Southwest, 17th Street Southwest, and then the last one is 40th Street Southwest / by Williams.
Oh, that's great, okay. Really, really good. Hopefully we can put something out there when it's time to alert the public about it, because this is gonna be great. So, yay, okay. Any additional questions?
Just one more.
Okay.
So, as for expansion of this kind of program, is that something that y'all are putting in the budget for next year so that some kind of expansion can be done? Because I know there are other parts of town that are having the same problems.
It's not something I don't think you'll expect in the budget for this year, but it is something we are exploring, and this is a 3-year pilot. So I think for at least the next couple of years, we're just gonna keep it within the framework of a pilot. I think that we, as a department, we've developed pretty good relationships with our Class 1 railroads, and we really want to have a holistic vision of the rail network. That takes time. I'm not gonna commit to a timetable in terms of when we'll be requesting funds for this kind of thing, but this is at least a start.
Yeah, I was figuring it would probably be after the 3 years was over and we had gathered all our data and decided what to do, but nobody does anything for free but give us kits for children that have disasters, so.
I will say,
That's
Madam
nice.
Chair, I think
Yes.
VDOT has done a great job of going after certain grants, like the Creasy Grant that helps with
Yeah.
infrastructure and rail.
Yeah.
I think as long as those opportunities are still out there, we'll go after them because we like grants. We don't like to, use a lot of the general fund just to, implement plans. But like I said, they will go and look for them, and I know our federal legislators and lobbyists will go after anything that we try to go for, no matter what this new environment looks like.
And to build on that, TrainFo has actually been a very good partner with other communities in developing grant applications. So we can use this data going forward to apply for future funding opportunities as well.
Well, I assume since we're getting our foot in the door, of course, that may not be good for much with this new environment, but still, our foot might get squashed, but we can hope.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That item is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
We just have one item for old new business. While we were at National League of Cities, as a part of the Federal Advocacy Committee, they asked us to join other cities, along with Columbus, Ohio, for example, that's passed a resolution supporting the preservation of federal tax exemption of municipal bonds. So I just wanted to get the recommendation from the committee first before we send it to the full council, and it's in our packet. Yeah, everybody's pretty much using the same standard one. And Councilor Abbott, it's super important that they know our support, because for every $1 that the federal government doesn't get back, it saves us $2. And I can send you the information where it shows billions of dollars that have been used for these type of bonds for infrastructure all over the state.
Well, I'm in favor of it.
Okay. Is there a motion for
I
approval?
move approval.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye, the ayes has passed. The next committee meeting will be on Monday, April 14th. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
All in favor say aye.